Hey everyone, I wanted to do a quick video today about 3 things that I have noticed about men when they're really in love. And this is just things that I've gathered recently because, as a backstory, I kind of I stopped dating, right, for a little bit of recent. But then, some men from my past reached out again, and I thought, oh, let me see if things have changed. And it's funny what a little bit of time and distance will do. And I started to realize that a lot of the men that I've dated, or gone, when I say dated, I mean gone on dates with. I haven't really been in many relationships, to be honest. But a lot of the men that I have gone on dates with, on paper, look like great matches for me, but I always feel like something is off. And a lot of my excuses and things, they sound legitimate, and they are. But honestly, I just don't feel like all of these things that I'm finding to be problems with these men are really why things are not working out. There's something else or something deeper that is missing. And what I realized is the thing that's missing is that these men don't really love me. And I know that sounds, I mean, to some that might sound like really obvious, like, duh, hello, you want a man who loves you. But to others, that might be like, oh, well, but how do you know? How do you know that this man is going to love you or not if you didn't, get into an actual relationship? Because our society tells us that we must first commit ourselves to a relationship before we find out if we can be in a committed relationship, which to me is that doesn't make any sense to me. Please don't kill me because of my opinions. This is an opinion piece, right? And so I started to kind of ask the Lord, what does a man in love really look like? What does he behave like? The funny thing is, I've seen this man. I grew up with this man. My father loved my mom. We may not have had the closest relationship emotionally, but my father loved my mom. So that was the first example that God kind of brought to mind. I also discovered this couple on YouTube. Their name is Naka and Dom. And the way that the man in this relationship loves his now wife and then girlfriend was, it's so palpable how much he loves his partner, his wife, that all in the comments you can see all the comments of women going, I wish that more men loved women this way. And it's because his love is so sacrificial, and you don't see him feeling tired or depleted because of it. So that was one of my points, but before I get ahead of myself, let me go ahead and tell you the 3 things that I've noticed about men in love. And you can let me know down in the comments, or right now, because this is live, whether you agree or disagree with these 3 points. But this is what I've noticed about men who are truly in love. So, number 1 is that they have already established a vision for their lives. They already know what kind of life they want to have. They know what kind of man they want to be. They know the kind of integrity they want to have, the kind of character, how they want to be known, what the reputation is going to be. They already know that. And in kind, they know who they want in their life. They've already established their circle of friends, who they can trust, who they can't trust, and they have established that community already in their lives. They already have a vision for their family. They know how they want to raise their kids, with what values and principles. And they know what kind of partner is going to fit their personality and their lifestyle. Somebody that matches their temperament, because they understand themselves. They understand who they are as men. And these things are established before he meets his love, right? The love of his life. The second thing that I've noticed about men who are truly in love and ready for marriage is that they sacrifice so much for the woman that they love. They do so much for the woman that they love, and they don't complain and they don't look depleted. Now, of course, there is reciprocity that is needed, of course, but he's not waiting for her to prove herself before he does something that's going to help her. He doesn't wait for her to earn his love. He gives, and he gives freely, and he actually gains from giving love to her. Her happiness is energizing to him. Her ease in life is encouraging to him. Somehow he is giving so much of himself, and yet on his face and in his consonants, it's as if she, just by being in his life, is giving him life. And that is something that is like a mystery. I know the Bible talks about there's a mystery in the way that a man is with a woman, and I feel like this is part of it. You know, I've had even men who I have not said are, truly in love with me. I've been on dates, I've been on second and third dates where a man has said that because he is seeing me, he's doing better at work. I haven't given him any tips. I don't know what he does for a living. I haven't offered him anything. And he's telling me that I have benefited his life simply by seeing me 3 times. Women, we don't understand our God-given power and influence in a man's life. And when that man is truly in love, other people from the outside will say that man's doing too much. They'll call him whipped. They'll tell him that he's a simp. I think that's the new name. And this woman has him on, a leash. They'll say all kinds of nonsense about this man in love. But little do they know, little do the critics know, that man is a winner. He feels himself to be a winner. He's doing better in life because of this woman he loves. He is the winner. So he don't care what other people are saying about him. He doesn't care if he looks whipped or crazy or whatever. He knows what he's getting from the woman that he loves. And, you'd be hard pressed to try and pry him from this woman. So, number 3, this is the third and last thing. Yes. Okay, let me read the comments real quick before I get to my last point. Yes, good evening. Good evening. Love yourself. I know your real name, but I don't want to put you out there like that. So let me read your comment here. So true. That is a godly man. Also, it is the foundation that was laid before him. Yes. I love that you put that there, because that's another thing that I have noticed is that men who love properly, in my opinion, they take their notes from somewhere. Either it's their father, their parent, uncle, some example, God. They take their notes from somewhere. They don't rely on how they feel, which is how a lot of people operate these days. Well, I don't feel like doing all that for her, right? No, the men who know how to love women, they take their cues. They look for a mentor, an example, Yes, and so if anybody's reading the comments, love of self, she knows what she's talking about. I can vouch for that, okay? She is married to a wonderful man. She's saying, my husband is that man, and I believe it. She's a wonderful woman. So that is another thing, and I love that you brought that up, because it's true. A lot of the men who I've seen that are in love, my father did not have a good example, for instance. He did not have a good example from his father how to treat a woman. But he took his cues from the love of Christ for the church. He took his cues from God, that he said, I'm going to set God up as my example on how to treat my wife. And he also this is another thing, he surrounded himself with men who came from good backgrounds, who knew how to treat women well. So he made sure that he was in an environment, and this goes back to my first point. A man who wants to love well, he will set up his environment in such a way where that's all he can do. You know, he's going to set up his life in such a way where he can get to the destination he wants to get to. So let's get to my third point. I saw another comment there. Yes, 20 years, guys. So, you know, listen to, if you're reading the comments, love yourself. Listen to her. She knows what she's talking about. And the third point that I wanted to, or the third observation I've made about men who are in love and they're ready for marriage, is that they know who their wife is quite quickly. And they don't waste time showing her that that is his intention. And I stress showing because it's not just about a man saying, oh, well, I'm ready for marriage, so let me look for wife material. Okay, this is not about a man approaching you and saying, oh, you seem like a good girl, or you seem wholesome, or you seem like wife material. This is about a man seeing you, really seeing you, and saying, you are my wife. Like he has just discovered his missing rib. It's not about you being, oh, you're a nice looking rib for some man who's ready for marriage. No. You're my rib. And he knows it. He knows it. And he might know it way sooner than he actually tells the woman, but he knows it pretty quickly. And I've noticed that that is a theme amongst men. Once they really see the woman in the light that God wants to, them to discover her. Like my dad knew of my mom because they were in the same circles, but it wasn't until my mom was literally in front of his face and in his space that he said, oh yeah, this woman is my wife. Like point blank period, burn every other bridge. This is the one. And I noticed that men have that very quick way of identifying their wife. Not just some woman who is wife material. Not just, oh, she's a good girl, she's wholesome. That woman there, that's my wife. He's not thinking about marriage laws. He's thinking about that woman. It's like your rib. Like, how am I going to go on in life without my rib? I can't. So we're going to get that rib back in there in my life, right? That is how I've seen men who are truly in love and ready to marry a specific woman behave immediately. They're like, that's my wife. Can you explain it? Can you measure it? Can you do a scientific experiment to prove it? No, but he knows. And so it's kind of changed, as I close here. It's very much changed the way that I have seen dating, even men. I'm like so not even anxious about dating or anything like that because I realize that when a man knows, he knows. And he knows so many things. He knows who he is. He knows what he wants, who he wants in his life, who he wants to become, what he wants for his family, and so why should I sit here and have doubts? I know my husband won't, right? So let me trust God and let me trust the way that he's made men to be. So that when he arrives, I'm as confident as him. We match, right? I can recognize his confidence and I can trust his leadership because he clearly is leading the relationship from get. I'm not trying to convince him. I'm not trying to negotiate. He knows, right? So that's what I have learned about men in love. And I realized that I have been, more or less wasting my time trying to see if things are going to work because no, a man already knows. He already knows. So why am I wasting my time? So I saw true love. Yes, true love is unexplainable. There is a mystery in love. I mean, if God is love, imagine the height, the depth, the breadth of love. It's unsearchable. You know, it will take all of eternity to search it out, and you'll still have more to search out. So love really is this mystery, and that's why I am more so leaving it in the hands of the one who knows what love is, who is love. Only God knows. And so I just wanted to kind of share these observations with you. If you're watching this on a replay, please leave your comments down below. What do you think? What are some things that you've noticed about men in love that maybe I didn't mention here? Yeah, but it's really changed my perspective, and it's calmed me. It's given me peace to know that there's nothing like a man who's really in love. You know, a man who's just ready for marriage is not comparable to a man who's really in love. So, wow, you choose a good topic. Yeah, well, oh, it's for the season. I didn't know that this was a good season for it. That's good. I'm glad. But I just wanted to leave this for you. If you are struggling, trying to figure out if some guy is really serious or not, I take my advice with a grain of salt. But for my observation, if you're wondering whether or not this guy is serious, move on. Move on. No guy who really wants to marry you and who's really in love wants you to be confused. Okay. So that already right there is an indication. But I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me here on Lily of the Field for this very interesting topic, very interesting thoughts. And until next time, have a blessed day. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope that you will have a beautiful rest of your holiday season. And until next time, have a blessed day. And remember that God has given you everything you need to grow. Bye.